Welcome to War Thunder with Subdued. How y'all doing today? Well, finally got my hands on the P-59A era Comet. I don't remember. Yeah, I think it's the era Comet. But regardless of the name, it's the P-59A. It has three 50 caliber machine guns, M2 type, with 600 rounds per gun, and a 37 millimeter M10 cannon with 45 rounds, which basically means it carries more bullets and it's still the unreliable 37 millimeter of the American tree. It's slow firing. It is a slow shell. It would be somewhat similar to the MK108 with a worse grouping, which means it fires all over the place. It never fires directly where it's pointed. Which basically means you've got 350 cals and the occasional lucky hit by the 37 millimeter. You have two underwhelming engines that produce about 750 kilograms of force each. So, I mean, you got about 1,400 kilograms of force. Let's just check that to make sure that I haven't misled anybody. Yeah, 750 kilograms of force each. Now, let's go over to Germany and, well, we don't even need to go there. We can go to the Arado. We have 910 kilograms of force out of the Umo 004 B1 jet engine. And let's just see. 262A1. We have 856 kilograms of force times 2. So the swept wing 262 has more powerful engines, not to mention it has swept wings, which means it can accelerate to a higher velocity. And it's at 7.0, whereas the P-59A is at 5.3. But it also has a top speed of 429 miles an hour, which means there ain't nothing out there that can't catch it at Tier 4. Even a lot of the Tier 3s can catch it. Now, it is maneuverable, but contrary to what a lot of people think, it will not outmaneuver the absolute UFO that the A6M5 is. The A6M5 will outturn the P-59A 99 out of 100 times because it is a UFO. And the 20 millimeters are much more effective than the 37 millimeter because they hit. Whereas the 37 millimeter might hit, might not. Depends just which way the wind's blowing, the angle of attack of the sun, and the alignment of the North Star in reference to the Southern Cross. Did you get that? It means stick your finger out the window and see which way the wind is blowing. And you might get a hit. Never did like the 37 millimeter. Oh, it's great when it impacts. When it hits, it tears things apart. Because it's got what? Let's see. Let's go to the modifications table. And the HEFIT, high explosive fragmentation incendiary tracer, which is an awful lot to spit out all at once, has explosive type Tyrrell. It's got 45 grams of explosive. The TNT equivalent is 65.25 grams. Out of a 0.6 kilogram shell, which is leaving the muzzle at 610 meters a second. Now, let's take a look at the 262. Notice I haven't done a whole lot with the 262. High explosive incendiary tracer. They don't have any sort of information on this one, which I think is absolutely horrible. They should be updating this stat sheet to tell you what the cannons will do, how big the shell is, how much explosive is in the shell. But these shells will literally rip apart anything they hit. And I mean tear it to shreds. Doesn't matter whether it's a bomber, a super bomber, or a fighter. But they are contemporary in age. It just shows how much more advanced the German line was, aerodynamic-wise and as far as armaments. I will never understand Bell's fascination with the 37 millimeter. It just made absolutely zero sense. It was a horrible gun. It was prone to jamming. It is prone to being inaccurate at any range. It's just not the type of gun that you want on an airplane. Mounted on a PT boat, on a swivel mount? Yeah, that's exactly what you want. You want something that can fire a lot of bullets that can do a lot of damage when they hit against other PT boat-sized ships or hosing down the deck of a destroyer to keep their gunners under cover while you're putting two fish into the side of it. But putting it on an airplane is just absolute stupidity. And that's why Bell doesn't make fighters anymore. They make helicopters. And they don't make them with 37 millimeter cannons. But I've flown the plane a few times in test flight, which I realize is not exactly perfect. And again, even with the crew fully upgraded, now I'm not going to ace the plane because it's not worth it to me. I probably won't be flying this plane much. I wanted the plane. Don't get me wrong. I just wanted the plane. But I'm not going to fly a pure fighter that's as bad as this plane is. I'm not saying it's a bad plane so much as what it has to fight against, it's horrible. There are prop planes that will bury it in speed There are prop planes that will bury it in turning. There are prop planes out there that will bury it in firepower. But it's an interesting plane to have in the lineup just because of what it is. The first U.S. jet fighter. Not the best, but the first. And that's pretty much all I've got. This is Subdude signing off. Y'all have a pleasant today, a better tomorrow. And if you've already got the P-59A, I hope you have a lot of fun with it. Because, like I said, it's the first. Even if it isn't the best. Take care, folks. Subdued out. Bye-bye.